What's going on, everybody? Brandon with Strict Vision Athletics here with Eli, the dream team, the content creating guru. What's up, dude?
How's it going? That fly's gonna bother you all night.
It's gonna. Yeah. I don't understand. We just closed the door, and now with the door closed, the flies are in here. It doesn't make any sense. The door hasn't been opened in 2 days.
Oh, I've been opening it every time you go in, just letting them all in.
Well, now it's going to be on you too. Having that thing closed is going to help with that, though. It's going to get rid of the stupidity of those insects and the dust and just the dirtiness. Cool, man. Well, this is fun. So, for this particular podcast, I wanted to address that comment that we got about content creation. And that's just one of many. I get probably the most frequent question that I do get asked about our partnership is about the content and the process for creation. Because, I feel like when it comes to someone's business, they can be very passionate and very knowledgeable, but when it comes to marketing, oftentimes there's a missing factor. There's kind of that missing X factor of creativity, and people have asked me where that comes from and how they can replicate it. What suggestions that we and ultimately you would give as the content creator for our platform to somebody who's trying to build up theirs.
Yeah, and I think kind of the general consensus when it comes to a platform like, let's use TikTok as an example, because that's probably been our most growth over the last 6 months, probably.
And it's where I think we've gotten the most creative with our content. That's something I want to circle back to, is the specificity of content per platform. How certain platforms have certain kinds of content that will flourish and certain kinds of content that will just kill you.
No, and so when it comes to TikTok, the biggest thing is consistency and volume. So if you're putting out constant volume and it's not gaining any traction, pay attention, because we've gained a very small audience in the grand scheme of things, but I would say the people that do follow us really enjoy our content and are really just great followers. Like 99.9% really like the content that we're doing. They like the atmosphere that we're basically promoting.
Yeah.
And I think we genuinely have fun when we do it. A lot of people may try to fake something, and you just have to be 100% yourself. Like, be genuine, and it's easy to do with you because you are so animated. You're so out there. And so for us, it's just really kind of the dream team, because I probably spend way too much time reading comments, seeing what people like, first of all, they love the fact that you're so knowledgeable and really fun and out there. So we can kind of combine the two, make it interesting, but still entertaining.
That was what you just said. Make it interesting, but still entertaining. That was the answer that I gave this particular individual who last week asked me this question in person. Try to have fun with your content, but make it also something that is beneficial in a way that I feel like we sometimes alternate videos that are focused on one or the other, but we always do a good job of combining the two in some way. I mean, even just look at even our Step Brothers video where it's clearly a parody. It's meant to be funny. But in that video, you and I did the assault bike. You and I did, some bench press with the Spock grips. And while that's not necessarily geared toward the educational side, someone will see that and be like, what are those? Where do you get those? And then that's where the education comes in.
And I think what's so great about TikTok compared to anything else is that we can use one of those comments. Like, what are those? Okay, we're going to reply with a video. We're going to literally go in depth to exactly what their question is, and we have a video for a day.
Yeah.
And if someone is new, if someone's trying to grow really rapidly, you probably need more than just one per day. And I think we're going to get to that point where
I wanted to tell you that next week, I'm going to start posting I'm going to try to do one post and one reel every single day. And I can just use whatever TikTok post that you post as the reel for the day on Instagram. So now because some of our TikTok videos are longer than a reel is 30 seconds, I think, no more. Some of our TikToks are longer, but I think what I can do is I can post it, and then if it cuts off, I can put in the caption for the full video, go to TikTok from Instagram. And that's a point that I want to circle back to. But one thing to always remember, you guys, what I was just saying is a perfect example of this. Use your platforms as funnels toward one another. So use TikTok to push toward Instagram. Use Instagram to push toward Facebook. Use your funnels off of one another, because each one is going to be different than the others. Mm-hmm. Certain platforms reward certain content that others do not. What I was just saying is a perfect example of that. Reels on Instagram allows only a 30-second bit per reel. TikTok allows 1 minute. I'm right?
Yeah, and they're actually doing a beta that's actually a little bit longer, for longer videos.
Fascinating.
It's really cool because a lot of social medias, they try to replicate each other. Mm-hmm. So YouTube has now created shorts. TikTok is now kind of doing like the YouTube videos where you can make it a lot longer. So it's like everyone's copying each
How's
other.
that going, by the way, the YouTube shorts? Because I saw you've been posting on there. What we also do, guys, there's so much we could talk about with this topic. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how broad this question could get. But what we do as a team, and this is something that if you are working with somebody, you should sincerely consider doing, is splitting up your platforms. He takes YouTube and TikTok, I take Instagram and Facebook, because just one of those platforms will take you 2 hours in a day if you want to really go after it as a content marketer. And you figure there's 4, okay, well, there's 8 hours of your day if you really were to spend all 4 of them all by yourself. Who wants to spend all that time doing that? Well, other than, I guess, us. Split it up. Give it to somebody if you're working with a team. It's a huge help. And working together, that's just one of the ways that I think you and I really complement one another.
And I think what's kind of funny that I just came to the conclusion of, because like you're Facebook and Instagram, I'm YouTube and TikTok, the age difference. Like the Facebook is kind of like the older, and that's not a shot at you, but...
Is that a shot at me? Because that makes you want to do it all the less.
Exactly. No, but TikTok is really a young demographic for the most part. Now it's changing.
Getting older.
It's definitely
which
changing.
We like.
But when it first originated, and like when we first partnered up, you probably had no idea what TikTok was. I barely knew what it was.
No, I didn't even. And I feel like it had just gotten traction as an actual platform. Like it was kind of fringe worthy. It was like kind of the, I don't know, 15, 16-year-old girl dancing app that, people didn't really see had the huge reach that it does now. What has our TikTok done? How long have we had it? 8, 9 months?
We're getting close to a year. I believe a year would be in June or July.
Okay, so we're,
like
9 months, 10 months. In that time, we've gotten to 72.
I think it was 78.
We're at 78,000?
I thought. Or is it 71.8?
That's a big gap. I feel like I want to check. I know the decimal points kind of mess with me too. Yeah. And when you're staring at all 4 platforms, watching the numbers grow each and every day, they tend to muddle.
I don't. I wouldn't even care about it.
It's over. I mean,
it's in the 70s.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't check it and kind of care about it. Like I see it and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I don't know why, but like in my head, I'm like, okay, 100. That's the number. Like if we can once we reach 100, then it will be enough. Then I can stop this journey for happiness.
That's where it begins.
I know. That's what I read an article, actually, they were talking about the differences. The algorithm recognizes you more after 100. And I think after Instagram, it's after 20K. After you reach 20,000 on Instagram and after you reach, which we're damn close on both of those. At Instagram, I know we're at 18.6. And on TikTok, we're at 71 something. Point being, look at the 2 numbers that I just put forth. You've got 70, let's call it 71,000 on TikTok, 18,000 on Instagram. This is a perfect example of how the algorithms of these platforms work differently. I have had the Instagram, and I've been doing Instagram seriously. While I've had this Instagram for probably 6 years, I have been seriously doing it for 3. But it has in 3 years, and that's of me growing real organic, dude, these flies, that's genuine content, people. This is real life. 3 years of me growing organic, genuine followers through Instagram, through a like, a follow, unfollow, not algorithm. What's the word? Pattern that I follow. Strategy. Time spent really marketing on Instagram for 3 years, and I've managed to get under 19,000. We've been doing TikTok at the same basic rate, posting once a day, same as Instagram, for less than a year, call it 9 months, and we're at 71,000 followers. That is a huge swing on number of eyes seeing your stuff. Point being, algorithms are different across the platforms. TikTok is very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm. And I think that anyone who's trying to grow a following or grow a business in any way, if you're not taking TikTok seriously, don't even bother. Because if you're not looking at the different platforms and what value it can bring you, you've already lost. Mm-hmm. Because TikTok is the most growing platform of any of them.
Really?
They will grow your following more than any other platform. And Instagram is not going to do that. Facebook sure is not going to do that.
No.
YouTube probably pays the best when it comes to like monetization.
Once you reach a certain following, because they have ads.
But it also is a lot harder to gain a following and keep that following. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I would try to encourage you and anyone listening is, if you're trying to gain a following, stop looking at the numbers. Just consistently be yourself and don't necessarily care about the dollar amount. Don't care about the number. Just continue to grow, and the followers will come if you're actually bringing valuable content that people want to see.
Definitely.
And
yeah, my enjoyment from seeing that number grow is, I don't know, purely just from a getting in my own head kind of. I don't know.
Oh, it's fun. No, it's fun to watch see that number grow.
It's fun to see it number grow, and mm-hmm. when you spend so much time with the intention of making it grow, it's cool to see that it really does work. Mm-hmm. And that's the part of the equation that is, I feel like, the most rewarding, aside from, just making the content, is seeing that what you do produces and yields a real result.
And it matters.
Mm-hmm. What I'm doing, even prior to bringing on Eli, the lifeblood of private training, and I would go even further and say any fitness company at all today will live or die by the productivity of their social media. Social media has changed everything for the marketer's game. And I can only speak for the fitness industry because that's the only one that I've really taken seriously as a marketer and as a content creator. But I can tell you that without social media, there would be no company.
Well, one thing, because I spend way too much time and I follow a lot of like entrepreneurs on TikTok and social media in general, a lot of their business, whether it's real estate, whether it's investing, if they're like reselling things, social media plays a huge factor in gaining traction, gaining eyes. That's the whole goal. And I was actually reading an article, I think this last week, just about how high costs are for companies to basically pay for ads now. It just constantly goes up. So now they're trying to find different avenues of basically, how do I put this product in front of people? Yeah. And when they see people that have a large following, it's going to become much more attractive to go through an influencer versus paying Facebook or Instagram or whoever to actually funnel that ad.
And to that point, the paying Instagram and Facebook, I wanted to make a point on this podcast in pointing out to people, because this was another question I got on the differences between the platforms as far as pay to play. And if you're looking at the 4 social media platforms that we just mentioned that we are on, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, Instagram and Facebook are pretty much one and the same. They're ran by the same company. Those are your pay to play platforms. If you want to be successful, especially on Facebook, that's got to be number one. If you want to be successful as a marketer and, take on those 2 platforms, you can all but guarantee that in order to see your following grow and in order to see eyes on your product, you must do paid ads. In the beginning, your growth should be organic. I always encourage that. You need to create yourself and brand yourself before you even consider putting money into a platform. But if you're taking Facebook, after 6 months, something along those lines, it's probably start time to put money into the machine. Because that platform is a lot like a slot machine. And you really do have to put money in to get even the chance of a result out. It just doesn't. It does not do organic growth like TikTok, and it does not yield that result unless you are very active on it.
Mm-hmm. No. And that's kind of one of the downsides. I think what I like about Facebook is Facebook groups, but the platform as a whole, I never go on Facebook.
Yeah.
I first of all, I don't have enough time in the day, And if I'm going to spend my
and
time...
I take Facebook, so it makes sense why you don't go on Facebook.
It works out great. But like if I'm just a normal consumer, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are the only social medias that I'm going on.
Buying Instagram was probably the smartest move Facebook ever made. Like acquiring that company, because Instagram, I would say Instagram is more popular than TikTok still. I would say Instagram's probably number one. Would you agree? That's probably the biggest reach platform. Is that where most people are? Because almost everybody on TikTok probably has an Instagram.
Yeah. So,
but the opposite can't be said. Everybody on Instagram doesn't have a TikTok.
So I do think yes. I do think Instagram is bigger. It's been out here for a lot longer.
Yeah.
I think TikTok is growing at a much faster rate than Instagram is,
or anyone else,
and I think that, look at our look how TikTok has grown our other platforms as a whole.
Oh yeah,
and obviously we're doing other things when it comes to Instagram to grow it organically as well, but we've probably gained how many followers? In the hundreds from TikTok that have kind of funneled over, right?
It's hard for me to know exactly. Yes, let me start by saying hundreds, definitely gained hundreds of followers from TikTok since the genesis of the platform that we created. Definitely. Probably more. Maybe not thousands. No, not thousands. Because again, Instagram is slow. If you guys gain, the systems that I have in place, what I do is it requires some research. It really does, because Instagram is also a very tricky platform with regards to the people you can follow and unfollow in order to organically grow. In my experience, the follow-unfollow technique is by far your best organic method to grow real followers. And if you guys are a local company, forget Jim, if you are local in any way and you are limited to local consumers, Instagram is going to be your bread and butter, because what you should be doing is taking the time to learn local companies that are bigger than yours with larger followings that are only in your area. Like, for example, if I am a gym in Gilbert, I want to find other only in Gilbert gyms, and not even that, restaurants, yoga studios, anything that is geographically located near you that has followers. Those followers are located near you. Your follow-unfollow technique will change with time because the algorithm changes. I'm not kidding you. Instagram is nuts. They change their algorithm every 3 to 6 months, and when that happens, the number of people you can follow and unfollow is restricted. I'm restricted right now on Instagram. They did it again. I thought I had it down. I've taken all this time. I'm like, okay, I've got this. I can follow 100 people at 9 a.m. and 100 people at 4 p.m. and I'm good. Nothing will happen to me. And I did that for 2 months. Then yesterday, I got blocked. I was like, what the heck? I didn't do anything different. I didn't change the demographic. I didn't change the location. I didn't change the number of people that I'm following. Why am I blocked? They will do that. Instagram does not, and that is one of the areas where I like TikTok more. Instagram does not incentivize the hustle. They want to, because they want to be paid. They want paid advertisements pushing eyes to your platform. They do everything they can to moderate organic growth. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but for those of you who really do want to take this serious, and this conversation I'm going to hand over to him for you to do this about TikTok, but to organically grow these platforms, each one comes with its own set of restrictions, limitations, and strategies. It's why it's so complicated to organically grow without paying in. What would you say as far as TikTok? Is there because you know what I do with Instagram, I kind of just laid it out. What is it about TikTok? What's the best way to grow other than just, I guess, having awesome content?
So, like Instagram, TikTok's algorithm does change as time goes on. For example, when I first, like in the beginning, we could post, we could like our own things, and that would kind of boost the algorithm. We stopped doing that a while ago, like liking our own posts and stuff like that. It just doesn't help anymore, and we were really early on. Yeah. But let's say you post something. Go on the For You page, like, comment, interact with a few people, and then get off. Get off for a few hours, and you'll start to see that TikTok will start basically promoting it to more people so that you're getting a notification, hey,
because they want you to come back on.
Yeah, this person comment. That's what's working right now. And by the time this podcast comes out, it could completely be gone, and that doesn't even make sense anymore.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's a blast. But, I mean, content creation as a whole is a full-time job for most people. If you're trying to combine them both, that's kind of why it's helpful for us to be a team on this, because Instagram is its own beast, TikTok is, YouTube is, Facebook is, and when you have so many platforms that you want to have a broad reach to, it's kind of important to have a team around you that can benefit you and can bounce ideas off of each other. But right now, respond to every comment. Engage with your audience. If they are asking you questions and they want to know more information, don't just leave that comment blank. Respond to it. Maybe ask them a follow-up question so then they go back to the post. That really helps the algorithm.
Answer a question with a follow-up question. That's a good point. And that's a good point that I think can apply to all platforms, no matter what it is. If you're a content creator and you want to, I feel like that is one area where, because they're all different, but they all have similarities. That's one area where all platforms will reward you, is number of comments per post. If you have a lot, if you post something controversial, it's why clickbait is so popular. It's why everyone's angry, because everybody wants to post stuff that will make a reaction, and anger is a lot easier than happiness. So that's why, you get so much negative stuff out there, because that means if I post something right now, like let's just say I post all lives matter and then I just leave it alone. Well, that's going to just light up on Twitter. We don't even do Twitter, but that's going to light up on any platform. People are just going to start talking about it. And that's what clickbait is. But to your point, with your content, whatever it is, if you get questions, answer those questions and answer them with questions so that more comments are generated.
And I think that people just like to be angry. People really think that, and this goes towards me too, most of the time my opinion does not matter at all. So to me, I'm not going to really comment on someone else's post and say, oh, you're an idiot for X, Y. I just don't think that my time or like my opinion really matters on the subject. Some people do not understand that.
Some people really think their opinion matters.
Exactly. But in the grand scheme of things, I think that, look at movie stars and they comment on politics. They do all these things. It's like, listen, we don't care. Like, we love you as an actor. We love you as this. Stick to your niche. Niche?
I've heard both. I think niche.
Niche?
Yeah.
Niche? I don't know. Niche. We'll call it niche.
We're French, so niche.
Yeah, exactly. So no, stick to that and cultivate your audience to that and kind of stay in your element. Don't try to branch off and just throw hate on shade on other platforms. Like, if you don't agree with something, like, be respectful. Like, if you really care and it's going to bother you if you don't make the comment, okay, make the comment. Yeah. But be respectful. And I think sometimes people get really angry and really upset like that. And it's for no reason too. It's like, okay, like, thank you for that comment. I hope you feel better after that.
And I feel like while it may be a sacrifice on our part to not put out negative content or even controversial content, because we really don't. We've gone somewhat into the mask thing. We've done some content, I think it's pretty clear what my opinion is on the mask thing. I've talked about it in a couple videos, but we do not promote a negative atmosphere inside of our company. We just don't. With our content, we try to make it funny. We try to relate it to, movies that everybody loves, or comedy that everybody enjoys, or information that everybody can use. But we have not. Who was it? I think it was Landon and Stapes from. It's one of the snippets I took away from that Clients and Communities Facebook group that Jake and I joined a while back. And what they had said was that you are going to attract the energy you put out. So if, for example, someone is in your Facebook group and they start breaking the rules of your Facebook group in some way, they're being racist, they're being whatever, they've violated your terms of agreement, you can address what they're doing in the group, call them out, answer their question, besmirch them in front of their peers, or you can simply block them, delete them, say nothing, and move on. And the latter is a much smarter approach, because by acknowledging those kinds of people, I'm talking people that are very negative. If someone asks a controversial question or calls me out, like on TikTok today when someone's like, you shouldn't do a snatch with resistance bands, obviously I'll answer that. That's his opinion, and I have mine, and I can give you the peer-reviewed stuff to back it up. But if somebody is being negative, best to just leave it alone. Best to whatever, block them, get rid of them, just move on. Don't entertain them, and don't bring that energy into your platform, whichever platform you're talking about. I feel like that applies to all of them.
And going off of, you made the comment earlier on that monologue about the negative, controversial stuff and not making content for that. I think there's just so many accounts that are just negative, and people have their own problems outside of TikTok. That's what I hated about and this is a different topic, but sports. Every sport now is now political. It's now all in your face. I loved sports because you could get out of all of your problems.
An escape. Yeah.
You can escape all of that and enjoy a sport.
And it was a unifier. It didn't matter
who you were.
Black, white, didn't matter. You could come together. Everybody could at least enjoy sports. Now, we can't all perform the same way, but everybody universally can be a fan. And that was what was great about sports. It was the great unifier across all boundaries. And you're right. There's a very good point to be made. I mean, I haven't watched an NBA game in months. And it's the same thing. It's just I don't like being placated to, or even hearing the opinion of someone on a politically controversial topic during a sporting event. I understand that sports and politics, that's hard to say. So I understand that sports and politics have a long history, and that they've coincided in many, many ways throughout the years. The Olympics, all that stuff. There's always been politics involved, but I have always valued the unification that's brought in through competition, even in defeat. But there's sportsmanship. There's all the positive side of things that I feel have been pushed underneath the weight of the political, especially today, the controversial political atmosphere.
Yeah, and I think that, and obviously we don't want to make this like a political podcast at all, but I think that most people are going to be pretty close in the middle.
Agreed.
When it comes to values, most people are not on either side far. And I think if you just have an open dialogue and just a conversation with people, most of the time, and I could be naive to think this, but most of the time, regardless if you're a conservative or you're liberal, you're going to be a good person in the sense that you're not going to try to be a jerk to someone just because of something else. Now, on social media...
Yeah, I was about to say, where are you having these conversations?
I'm saying in person.
Yeah, in person, because in social media, man, everybody just relishes the opportunity to be a dick.
Everyone is very tough and very strong behind a computer. And it really shows that not a lot of people got beat up when they were young, because they can just say whatever they want and there's nothing that can happen to them. That's why I feel like people will kind of tune into that if someone makes just an off-the-wall comment, and will get so infuriated. And it's like, okay,
it's like
you
a
have
drug.
no idea. Yeah, you have no idea who they are. That could be a 12-year-old that you're getting upset with.
They're like, insult hit. It's like, I got insulted. It feels so good. It's just so weird that's as a society where we're at, that people really do. They got to find it. And when they do, they're so happy. Like, this person said something, I'm going to get them canceled. It's just so strange that's the high people seek. And I feel like that's why, as influencers, there's a need for positivity, there's a need for education, and there's a way to do that without stirring the pot, especially without stirring the political pot. And we do a very good job of doing that. There are times where I, maybe get a little fired up, and I really want to use, what we do to get an agenda, to get my point out. When I hear something that I just absolutely patently disagree with, sometimes I got to check myself, be like, okay, no, don't put that on the Instagram story. I get that it's a funny political meme, or that it's something you believe is wrong or right, but this is a gym. This is a business. This is not that divides your audience. And that's something I would also caution to influencers of any kind. When you take a stand, left or right, remember, you divide your fan base right down the middle. It's like Michael Jordan said, I'm not going to go political. Why? Because Republicans buy shoes too. I think, man, dude, I don't get these what? I get that it's bringing like authenticity to the podcast, but this is going to sound so weird when I'm like away and back and away and back.
Hey, I'm fine over here. I'm just watching like 4 flies attack you.
They're just like all over me. I should have cranked up this AC vent to just blast them against the door.
But by the way, we've answered like one question pretty in depth. Was there others that we wanted to address, or do we want to keep going?
We haven't even gotten really into content marketing. I feel like we have dove pretty deep into this, but excuse me, the question pertained to the content that we create and where it comes from, because that's a big piece of it. Yeah. And that's something that I don't know can necessarily be coached. A lot of it comes from your creativity and my creativity, which is in your mind. Something that, you see a video that has nothing to do with the gym, but in your head, you then take it and you think, we can do it this way. We can change this Thanos video, and we can use the glove. The one video where he's like, "What did it cost?" Everything. That to how much the gym costs. That's brilliant. That's a perfect example of where you take a video that has nothing to do with what we do and make it about what we do.
And so to give you perspective of just me and your relationship for people that don't really know us. So we are both very like-minded individuals, especially when it comes to our sense of humor. And that's huge. So
always.
When it comes to The Office, I think that's like 90% of my humor. Without The Office, I am dull. Okay? Like not funny at all. And so we have shows in common. We have movies in common that we really enjoy, and we both are... we both laugh at the same thing. So
sure.
When I see posts, when I see content, and I'll follow people that make me laugh, that I can genuinely see their creativity and basically not replicate it in the same way. Because I know TikTok is basically everyone just copying each other, and I think that can get very irritating, especially if there's no change in it. Like there's a few influencers that are kind of getting heat right now because they literally will do the exact thing and just replicate it. And I
feel like we've done a good job of making our own original content.
And I think that using the soundbite of someone and using it for something else, I don't think that's necessarily replicated. I'm saying exactly like same facial expression, same text. That's
same everything.
That's where I'm like, be original.
Do something different.
I think if you use the same sound and you do something creative with it, that's 100% fine.
And it boosts the algorithm to use a soundbite that's already. That's something that I don't think you mentioned about TikTok's platform. Using those sound bites that are trending, because certain ones will trend and certain ones will not. Almost every time that you take a sound bite, and again, it could have literally nothing to do with the gym whatsoever, but if there's a noise or a sound bite that is going viral and he comes in here and we film it and we do something gym related about it, it blows up. 50K, 100K, 1 million. We've had videos on TikTok that have 4 million views. And that's because of the trending soundbite that was used with them. Most of those videos are not any more unique in what is visually on the screen than some of our other ones, but those soundbites that TikTok rewards can just blow up a video.
And for the sake of consistency, I think it was like 2.6, just in case someone tries to fact check us on that one.
Is that the most amount of views on one?
The 7 million was on a different platform that we were not tagged in. That's for a different conversation. But no, so what I would recommend is be active on any platform that you're trying to gain an audience for. If you can see what people are doing and what's working, that is your bread and butter. If you see 8 or 9 people doing the same type of video and you're seeing it on the same day, that's probably going viral right now. And you may want to jump on that bandwagon, make it creative, make it your own, always be unique to yourself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't use something that is trending in order to boost your following. And I do think there is a difference between gaining a large following and gaining a target following.
Yep.
And I think that anyone can gain hundreds of thousands or millions of followers on a platform, but have zero engagement. It's just one video makes them go absolutely viral. What you are looking for is finding a target market that actually has a need of what you were providing, whether that is education, whether that is a gym, real estate, investing, whatever that is, whatever your niche is.
Did it again.
Niche. I don't. I'm gonna get roasted for this video. Anyway, niche.
You're already a meme. I can see it already.
Yeah, if we were a little bigger on YouTube, I think I might.
Somebody would have already done something.
Oh yeah, we're fine though. We're still low. Hopefully, no one comes back to this video. Like 2 years down the line, we have a large following.
What's up, niche?
Niche. I don't even know what I was saying. I think it was like stay to your niche.
Stay to your niche.
And the following will come if they believe in what you're trying to promote, what you're doing, if you're actually bringing value, because anyone can have a large following. It's who you're following, who your followers are, and what value you're actually bringing. That's kind of the most important
thing. Now they're on you.
Yeah, great.
And furthermore, if you guys are trying to actually sell a product or service online, it's going to be different than if you're trying to sell that in person. So what he was saying, do you have a large following or do you have a local following? And ideally, a large local following would be everything in a perfect world. But as we learned from Dwight Schrute, not everything happens in a perfect world. But if you are trying to sell something that is only in person, like a product or service that the client must be here for, then you're better suited doing what I do on Instagram, doing the follow-unfollow based on local companies, local businesses, finding people that are geographically near you. If you are trying to sell a product or service online training, nutrition, clothing line, anything that can be shipped within, anything that can be shipped that isn't, your company's not geographically specific to you, then something like TikTok is much more your speed, because the growth you will see will be much bigger. It'll still be organic, but those followers will most likely not be living near you. We've had occasionally someone is in Arizona from TikTok. Somebody who's like, oh, I live, so-and-so. But for the most part, where are most of our followers? You looked at it before.
I think like 52% are in the States, and then the rest are around. Like we actually have a large following in Australia, of all places. I don't know why.
Okay.
But we Ireland is another place that we randomly have. That's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think those are the big three.
Yeah.
But I mean,
point being, they don't live in Gilbert, Arizona. No. They don't live in Gilbert, Arizona. And if you're trying to sell something that you're geographically specific to, then Instagram. Do Instagram. I would start with Instagram, and I would build your followers off local companies that are around you. If you are selling something bigger, go bigger. Do TikTok, do YouTube. Just promote your brand in a way that'll get the most eyes on you. Try to make them organic, but ultimately you're going to end up doing paid advertisements anyway. So just make good content.
And one thing we haven't even talked about is YouTube. YouTube is something that I'm learning now. And I think that what we're doing that's good with YouTube is taking advantage of something that's new, the shorts. And it really just it's time consuming because we're using our old content and repurposing it to shorts. And you would think that's really easy because you're just going to save the TikTok and post it. Well, that's not how it works.
Not on YouTube. Not on shorts. I haven't done shorts.
Well, so what I mean by that, in theory you can, but you're going to have your TikTok emblem just bouncing
around.
I don't like that. I know you don't care about that, but to me, what I do is I will literally save it as a live photo, save it as just the one that kind of bounces around. And when you have those, you take the live photo, you convert it into a normal video, you put it inside whatever video editing you're doing, extract the audio from the one that's bouncing around, move it to the other one, save it, crop it.
You do this every time for the shorts on YouTube? Oh my gosh.
But it does not have the TikTok emblem. You have the sound. It matches up perfectly.
Okay.
That's the way to do it now.
That's a whole other conversation, is editing. You're editing all the YouTube videos, the podcasts, all that kind of stuff.
Content creation is a full-time job.
Content creation is another full-time job. And I feel like those two occupations kind of get muddled together. But marketing and content creation can be separate. It certainly takes an entirely different amount of time in order to do one and the other. They do go hand in hand when it comes to the actual delivery to the customer, but the amount of time that each individual process takes, how much do we shoot content every week?
Probably like 5 to 6 hours of just shooting.
Just shooting, not even editing. Just think about. I mean, all the shooting I do on Instagram with people training, all the shooting that we put on YouTube.
I'm not accounting for that.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, that's at least 6 hours a week.
And then
of just content creation. That's without editing. That's without
YouTube definitely takes the most time to edit, just because you want it, or at least we want it to be as good as possible, because it's a new platform for us.
Yeah.
And they're a lot longer videos. Now, granted, we're only doing 2 videos a week right now.
2 videos a week
One
on
of them
YouTube.
is this podcast.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get to the point where we're doing more volume on all platforms. Right now, we're just both have our lives. You have your full time. I have my full time. It's this is, and we have this obviously, and this is our full time as well. So it's.
I know.
It really comes down to how efficient you need to be with your time. And if you have to basically pick like a top 3 platforms to do, obviously it depends on what you're trying to promote, what you're trying to do. TikTok and Instagram are going to be in those categories no matter what. Facebook and YouTube is really going to depend on what you're providing. Is it a service? Is it a product?
And what kind of content do you want to make? Do you want to make longer, informational based stuff like this, unedited content, long? That's YouTube. Facebook, I agree with you. Facebook, the thing I think it brings is the community aspect of the group. The group is a great tool for, really, it's a tool that we haven't utilized yet. Still, we're not really doing the ad space that we talked about, at least not yet. We're in the process of creating several online training modules that eventually we will launch. And when that happens, the Facebook group, which we're just now sort of discussing, will be used for the ad space. And for content creators, you want to save that, and you want to use your Facebook group as sort of the finish line for all these funnels. You want to funnel people to that, because the Facebook group is where you can do your ads. That's where you can promote challenges. It's where you can do free giveaways, promotional codes. All that kind of stuff can happen in that group. The problem with the Facebook group is that you can't even follow new Facebook members from your Facebook group. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
You can't do that. In order to get followers into your Facebook group, they have to be followers that you yourself personally already follow on your Facebook. So in order to organically grow, I have to find people through Brandon Fournier, then go into Strict Vision Athletics group, then I can invite them to the group once they're my friends on my name.
That's if you want to invite them. If they just find it organically.
Right.
Okay,
but that has
making sure.
Organic followers that find you. This is different
it's
for
rare.
How big you are. It's so scarce. We get maybe 1 a day.
That's why you need ads.
You need ads. And we're not doing that right now. We're not doing paid ads. We're doing paid ads on Instagram. We're not doing it on Facebook. Paid ads, it's a pay-to-play platform. Probably the biggest of all 4, I would say, is Facebook. Probably the biggest pay-to-play.
And going off of what you were saying, because you mentioned the online training, like briefly, what I would encourage anyone who is trying to really gain their following and sell something, or their business, whatever it is, kind of like the theory of like never stop learning, never stop evolving with your business. Like right now we're working on the back end of creating a platform that is much more affordable for individuals, and basically finding a product that can help everyone with their fitness goals and at a much affordable rate, because not everyone is going to afford coming in for the one-on-one personal training. Not everyone is going to live in Arizona.
No.
And so trying to basically pivot and learn from your audience, whoever that may be, because TikTok, like we discussed, it is broad. Many people across the world. Being able to pivot from one strategy that you think may work, you're going to learn right away from your audience and your following what is going to work and what is not. And being able to be adaptive and not being stuck in your ways is really going to help long term of being flat. Like look at Barstool. Barstool is a perfect example. They pivot more than probably any other company that I'm aware of.
They're one of my favorite companies, I think, ever.
Yeah.
They've got so much going on.
They evolve, and if they see it going one way, they're not going to say, oh, well, we're stuck. No, they're going to move with it.
Yeah, they move with the curve. They do, and they've got an incredible CEO. They've got really funny content, and they're just they're an entertainment conglomerate. I don't even know if that's the right word, but everything they do is funny and fun and entertaining, and it's just a really, really cool company. But
and gambling.
And gambling, yes, that's right. I'm not a gambler guy, so I'm so out of the loop. They have their own online gambling service, right? Is that what?
I think that's what it is.
I think you can gamble through Barstool now. You can do sports betting.
A few states. I don't think every state. I don't think you can in Arizona. No.
I don't know if you can. Can you online gamble in every state?
No. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can.
Like on any online gambling. Like online gambling is illegal some places. Like I think maybe Utah. I'm just guessing.
No, a lot of states you can't. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't think in Arizona you can online gamble.
That doesn't seem right. Because what's his face did it constantly.
Who?
Phil.
I don't know who that is.
Remember?
We don't even talk about names, but at the same time, I have no idea who you're talking
King
about.
Dickhead's buddy. He was always fly. He was always online gambling.
He probably had a bookie or something. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I thought it wasn't. You weren't able to, but I could be wrong. Again, I don't gamble. You don't gamble. We're talking out of our niche.
Yeah,
we just stopped doing that. Our niche. I got that right.
I think we touched on a lot here, though. I think we more than answered the question. If you guys have something beyond this, please let us know. If there's a way we didn't answer the, specific content creation, social media marketing topic, I'm sure there's somebody who didn't get what they wanted out of this. So please let us know. But
and one thing I would add is, because we've talked about the algorithm constantly changing, if there's something that, like, if we have an update, we can always jump on, and maybe it doesn't have to be a full hour, but we can jump on, do like a 30-minute of update of, hey, this is kind of what is working for us, and that can be another way of helping out anyone who's trying to build a following that way.
Agreed. Oh, for sure. And rest assured it'll happen. I'm surprised. It just did. I mean, it just changed 2 days ago. Instagram nailed me. So it's always changing, and you always have to be researching it. Really, I mean, just Google latest TikTok algorithm or latest Instagram. Someone has written something on it, and it's worth a shot at least checking it out. But yeah, stay up to date and keep creating fun content. Those are 2 good topics to end with. Well, guys, that's about it. Eli, that was pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
I think we answered the question efficiently. Again, if you guys have any more questions, just let me know.
Sounds good. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, man. You too. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast. If you guys like our content and you want to see more of it, click the subscribe button down below, or as always, you can follow us on any of our other social media platforms. Stay fit, you guys. Stay healthy, and become the 1%.